at that point, my mother was likely just continuing the interrogation.
Right, of Casey.
Right. So, obviously, that's why they would have been fighting.
Was your mother, I guess one part of the argument was that your mother was trying to get her to speak to the police.
Sure.
And that was part of the argument.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we've encouraged this whole time, if you have anything, you need to share it. There's nobody that can help you if you don't share what you know.
And what did you hear your mother saying to her in that regard?
Same thing. Who can we, is there anybody that, you want to talk to, But, again, from what I remember, if I wouldn't have the transcript of what it was to tell you for sure, but from what I remember during that phone call, with a lot going on in the room, because it still wasn't silent in the room even during this phone call, if you believe that. That's, I'm sure how many folks were actually there at this point, but it was more just my mother and my sister, or my mother from what I could hear, just kind of, I don't want to say squawking back to her, but just trying to bring her back down and trying to get her to listen to whatever point she was trying to make at the time. So I know they didn't get anywhere in that phone call as far as anything was really concerned.
Then you got on the phone with her. What did you say to her? And I know that this has been rehashed, but we have to do this. Right. What did you say to her when you got on the phone?
It was, again, trying to bring her back down, to try to get her to, first off, understand that we're trying to help her. We're trying to understand what's going on. We're trying to do fact-finding so we can find Kaylee. That's the whole point of all of it. Trying to bring her back down and bring her focus in, because it was more of, during the maybe 30 to 40 seconds that I spoke to her, she was focused on, you guys won't listen to me, no one's listening to me. I'm telling you guys the truth, no one's listening to me. And, me just trying to say, okay, well, you have to be
when she said,
you can't shut people out, you need to be very,
And when she was saying to you, I'm telling the truth, nobody's listening to me, what truth was she referring to?
In general, just the truth about whatever she was trying to tell law enforcement at that time. So,
which was?
Again, 30, 40 seconds of a conversation. We're speaking in generalities. I didn't talk to her and say, so how was your trip to Universal? You know what I mean? We didn't speak about anything specific during my and my sister's portion of that phone call. So,
was one of the reasons that Casey was reacting so poorly on the other end that your mom was accusing her of I don't want to use the word lying, but not being truthful.
I don't even think that's completely fair, because we wouldn't even know how to grasp the truth at that point. Being forthcoming and being truthful are two completely separate things.
Did you all think she was being forthcoming?
I think it's felt to me that there was reluctance.
Okay. So, why do you think that was?
At that time, I wouldn't know. At this time, and also just through other conversations with Casey, or through Casey, through my parents, and then relayed to me, that she was fearful for Kaylee, that she was instructed not to go to the authorities, not to say what she knew. So,
you think her lawyer was giving her bad advice?
I don't even believe she had representation at that point.
Who was telling her not to go to the police?
I'm saying that would have been her instruction from...
Who?
From the Zanny person.
Oh, that the Zanny person said, don't go to the police?
Right.
But why?
I'm going to object. Calls for speculation.
But you can, I mean...
Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, I don't know what someone would hold over someone else's head. There's nothing you can hold over my head for for my niece, I've said multiple times, I will trade places with anybody. I'd die right here for her. So, there's.
Did she ever indicate?
So I have no idea.
Did she ever indicate or say to you that Zanny or Zenaida was threatening her?
Yes, threatening our family individually as well.
And tell me elaborate on that. What threatening? How?
This conversation, as far as the first-hand conversation where I can speak more accurately, would have been the very first time that my sister was released from jail. Can't remember when that was. I want to say it was in August at some point. I may be off. But the first time that she was released from jail, her and I had a conversation about, everything. We had little conversations here and there, through like video visitations and things like that, jail phone calls at that point. But when she got to the house was when she was more, I think that she felt more, she knew that stuff wasn't being recorded.
She felt comfortable because there was no phone being taped, nobody. So this was the first time that you were able to have a conversation with her where she could let her guard down and be forthright with you.
I would, yes, and I definitely feel that way. When she was at home, that was definitely our opportunity.
And that's understandable.
Absolutely. So,
and she said to you at that time that Zenaida Gonzalez was threatening her and the family. In what way?
She didn't elaborate. More just saying something to the extent of, if this would have been what was told from Zenaida to Casey, was that if you go to the authorities, if you tell anybody that I could harm Kaylee, or I could we know where you live, we can harm your folks, we know where your brother lives, we can harm him.
And when you say was Zenaida working with somebody, or?
I don't know. When I mean I is interchangeable at this point. I'm just.
Now, when she said this to you, that had to blow you away.
It wasn't blown away. If anything, I'd be more frustrated to reiterate, listen, there's nothing that anybody can threaten any of us with. Because at this point...
Because the threats we're talking about here that you understood from your sister is bodily harm.
Or life threats, exactly.
Or death.
Exactly. There's nothing that anybody can...
Let me make sure.
Go ahead,
Death of Kaylee, yes. Or death of you, yes.
You have to answer out loud.
Yes, sorry.
Or death of your mom and dad. That if you, Casey, go to the authorities, I might kill Kaylee, yes.
Yes.
Your brother Lee,
yes.
Yes. Or your mom and dad.
Yes.
And when you heard that, that's when I say blown away, because I'm trying to put myself in your spot. What did you say to her when you heard these threats?
Right, and again, they were never specific to kill. But when I heard that someone was, I don't want to say blackmailing, but kind of holding something over you, saying that if you do such and such, I'm going to do this. I'm going to, go after, your folks, your loved ones, or whatever. At that point, it was frustrating to us to then tell Casey, there's nothing that we can go through that we haven't gone through in the past, however long it had been at that point, and we can go through anything in order to get her back. So if you know or you're holding back anything, don't hold back just because you think someone's going to attack us, because we're being attacked.
Did you ask Casey, why does Zenaida Gonzalez want our baby?
Casey's explanation, again, I'm sorry if it takes me a minute.
Oh, no.
Casey's explanation on why Kaylee would have been taken was to the extent of that Zenaida didn't think that Kaylee should have been with Casey for whatever reason, and that she was taking Kaylee from her for a period of time to teach her a lesson. I do remember that for sure. That was.
And you had to be just angry when you heard that.
Again, more angry that these aren't things that are being shared from.
We should shut those doors, don't you?
Things that aren't being shared fully with whomever, so they can be followed up on. I mean, even at that point, if it had been a month, if this was in August, and again, I'm sorry if I'm wrong on the date, but when she's out, I've been trying to do everything that I can from July 15th to that point also. So it was also kind of like I could have used all this information a month ago. So,
of course. So you were frustrated.